Okay, we're working on the bus. Previously, now hopefully today we're going to be getting some of these blue panels put in place. So let's see if we can get this stuff screwed together and start making sense of it all. Now, here is the wheel well of the bus. It's just metal. And I'm going to be putting this on it. And this is just a carpet pad. It's got a rubber back, a kind of plastic felt front. And I cut it to fit on top of here. And the reason for that is because I'm going to be putting wood on this and I don't want any kind of chattering or movement. This will help deaden the sound, but also it's got some uneven welding around the edge and this will contour to that so that my wood can sit flat on here. So I decided to stick a piece of flashing tape over these seat holes. I spray foamed underneath, but I wanted those extra sealed. Now we're putting our pad down. Here is my box that I made. So now the weight of this platform is literally sitting on that pad on the wheel well. It's not touching the floor anywhere, it's just coming close. Now I chose to do it that way because honestly the floor isn't level, kind of wonky. And if I tried to sit it on the floor, it would be all uneven. Put pocket holes along the top. I'm going to be screwing it into the wall. And then we can put this in. And what you guys saw me doing was drilling holes. I drilled holes through the strut. A lot of holes, actually. I went about every 4 inches and put a hole because I figured more screws is better than less. And I'm going to be screwing some small screws through the strut into the wood. That way we don't see any fasteners on the finished side. Okay, I actually just got it put in and I installed this piece over here. This is just pocket hole this way, screwed to the wheel well cover, and it'll have more securing later on. The last few days have been a blur of work. I don't even remember where we left off, but we've been working, cutting wood, painting it, getting it ready to put in. We actually installed part of the wall previously, but I took it back out so that we could paint it because I realized it would be a lot easier to paint it before it goes in than after in place with this metal here because I don't want the metal painted. We're ready to do some assembly today and I think it's going to go pretty well. We're going to try to make some big progress. We're just lining this box we made with this carpet padding, And the reason we're doing that is because we're going to be putting this big plastic water tank in here. Let me get in there. Right here. We just want it to be quiet, not shuffling around and not scuffing on things and wearing out. So that should hold it firmly. It feels really good actually. This water tank is actually going to be our gray water tank for our sink. I know it's huge, it's a 33-gallon tank, but water is important and we want to be able to wash our hands, brush our teeth, do whatever we want to do and not worry about having water storage for the gray water or the fresh water. We're going to try to equal that in the fresh water. A lot of people put these tanks underneath their bus. I totally get that. We have room under there, but there's a couple of reasons why I'm putting it on top. We'll get into that later. So the water tank went in awesomely. It looks really good. That's not secure yet. We're working on a design here. And you can see we added a little decorative touch to the front. We'll talk about that later. Right now, we're moving on to the toilet. And there it is. This is going to be our toilet area. And it's a little bit tall, so I'm going to rip it down and get it where I need it to be. Alright, I did some quick upgrades to this. I added another board in here and along the front. Let me just get this screwed in. I'm going to screw it to the back wall. You can see my floor is not level, and that's fine. We're working with that. So screw it to the back wall, screw it sideways, and get that in place. And then we can build the last part, which is going to be kind of a cubby and a sink. So hopefully we can get that started today too. Now I have been chipping away at this project a little here and there each day for the last few days and making some slow but big progress. You guys, it's coming together and it's looking really good. You can see I cut some tops here. These are some glued edge, kind of like a butcher block, but thinner. It's not as thick, which is good because we want it to be thin, lightweight, and practical for this bus build. So I got those here and there. This whole thing, again, totally is going to be confusing until you see the finished product. Most people would build cabinets like you would in a traditional home build, where they build a box, a frame, they put it together. I don't have room for that. So each piece is strategic and purposeful and supportive of each other. Everything's very custom built in place. There's no boxes because everything has very, very close tolerances. So everything right here is kind of test fit together. You can see a lot of it is not secured yet. All this is loose. And that's because I'm designing as I go to make sure everything is going to work the way it should. And now that I see it in place, I got to do some minor trims and modifications. I'm going to rip down these boards a little shorter. I just want a little more room here. And start working over here. This is the next part of the build. And again, more test fitting. I'm getting my pieces made and seeing how they're going to go. This is going to be a cubby, and basically an open cubby. And this is going to be reserved for a cooler. If we want to bring a cooler, whether electric or ice cooler, doesn't matter. We're going to have a 24-inch wide, 18-inch tall opening, and that's going to fit the coolers that I'm looking at. This is going to be open, and that means a really simple build, but at the same time, it's got to be strong. Even making these panels, which look super simple, it was pretty tricky because this bus floor is not even. So I had to cut these at an angle to make them so they sit flat on the floor, but we're level on top. And level on a bus is extremely hard because you can't use a level. You throw the level out on this build. All you can do is measure from the floor, from the walls, and try to get an idea of where things should be. So what I'm doing is pulling the vinyl off this trim piece that went by the door. And I'm doing that because I want to make a new piece to replace this with. I don't want the vinyl on it, so I'm going to cut a fresh piece of wood, but I need to trace it because it has a unique shape to the end. So the bus is coming together and it's looking really good, but we're gonna end it here before we put all those pieces I cut in place because the next step is gonna be paint. And we bought paint, we're ready for that. But we wanna save that for a new video before this gets too crazy. We're really excited to show you the colors that we picked. And so next time, like I said, well maybe not next time, we got a couple of rainy days here. We'll see what's gonna happen, but soon we are going to paint those pieces and then install them. We feel like painting them before we put it all together is just easier than trying to get in the bus and paint in all the little cracks, and we would make such a mess. So we're trying to avoid as much painting in the bus as possible. There will be some though.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now it's gonna look like a mess in there. It's gonna look chaotic. You're gonna see all these pieces I've been cutting out and it's gonna be hard to make sense of it all, but it will come together and it's gonna make sense as a final picture. It's like a puzzle. All these pieces are like interlocked and working together in a way that only makes sense when they're all together. So far, the layout that I planned in my mind and on paper is working out pretty well in the bus, which is good. I haven't had to make too many modifications. We're changing little things here and there, but overall it's coming out as we envisioned it, I think.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that now that I'm done with a lot of the wood cutting, it's gonna go a little quicker, I hope. Because we've been working on this project for like, it feels like a week now. As far as like
forever.
Cutting.
Planning.
Well, it's just been, it's a lot of slow stuff. And
measuring. The
day starts out beautiful and then it gets like so cold so quick and there's not many hours in the day to get stuff done. We've just been chipping away on it. here and there, getting it done, and I'm just hoping I can mash all this together for you guys so you can see and understand what's going on. But it should start going smoother because this, like I said, is the puzzle. Once the puzzle's done, we can just do the finishing work. It's gonna be really cool. And then we'll be almost ready to take the bus out for a getaway. You gotta remember that we still have to fix the suspension and do some other work like that. That's kind of a hassle, but we have everything we need for that. We're totally ready, waiting for a nice day, and we're gonna get it done. So hopefully that goes well. So stay tuned for all of that. Thanks for watching. We'll be back soon with another video, and until next time, take care.
Bye.